While perhaps not as mysterious and mystical as the Riemann Empire, it is a period of great importance for all of Tamriel and more detail. The Septim Empire, the Third Empire, or my personal favorite, the Dragon Empire, was founded, of course, by Tiber motherfucking Septim, conqueror of the late Second Era and ruler of the Third. Now, I have covered the Riemann Empire, so I will try to focus more on how the Tiber Empire is different, better, or just mention things I missed in the last video, starting with the army. Of course, you have your various groups of legionnaires, imperial battle mages. They would even still have spaceships. During this time, the Imperial Navy was perhaps the largest and most powerful during this era of the Tiber Wars. The Dragon Guard are no more. After the last Riemann Emperor died, the Dragon Guard disbanded, some becoming mercenaries to eventually forming the Fighters Guild. The Fighters Guild provides employment to free swords and mercenaries and contracts to local citizens. Citizens may contact the guild for the removal of creatures and pests, the delivery of goods on dangerous routes, the collection of beasts for arenas. What this means for the Empire is not only a safer world for the people, but common people can be better trained to fight beasts of Elder Scrolls without joining an army. Now, the Dragon Guard that continued their duties would now follow the new Dragonborn ruler, Tiber Septim, and would come to be known as the Blades. This was the peak of their power. The Blades had a vast influence. They became a larger organization, stretching to every corner of Tamriel. These agents were of every race. They were merchants, thieves, craftsmen, mages, and warriors, all acting as spies. While they may not be as glorious as the dragon hunting predecessors, they are far more organized and versatile. They know many secrets, and despite being much larger organization, are still effective spies. This would also be an era of many powerful heroes and entities, not just Tiber Septim himself, but people like Zurin Arctus, one of the most powerful mages in history, and the Red Dragon Naphiliargus, as well as powerful artifacts and constructs like the Totem of Tiber Septim and the Nunduum. Defenses and resources. I have already went over the Imperial City itself. Again, I can't break down how good of fortress layout it truly is, but should note it generally takes a great deal of magical effort and manipulation to destroy the walls, and one of the best defenses for the Imperial City are the people within the walls, such as mages and the Fighters Guild. The Fighters Guild are well trained and experienced in fighting all manner of enemies from humans to beasts to even Daedra. They are often suggested to be equals to the Mage Guild. Yes, the Mage Guild. As we know, a strong mage can turn the tide of battles. A united faction of powerful mages would be invaluable on anyone's side. I will get into it more when I get into offensive capability. Now, resources for the Empire. Of course, this includes farming that can be assisted or enhanced through magic, much like weapons. Healers in the Elder Scrolls universe can use alchemy. In most cases, the ingredients like marshrow, wicked wheat, court bulb, root, and saltris are very common and cheaply obtained. Can even use a combo of ingredients to turn oneself invisible. Equipment and assistance. I already covered what there is to say about equipment in the Remain video, but pretty much light, heavy armor, various types of weapons that can be enhanced or enchanted. Assistance is something I decided I need to add as a way of counting allied help such as war dogs and summon acronacs. Imperial Mastiffs, Imperial Legions as combat dogs. They are said to be as loyal to their masters as they are savage to their enemies. Not really seen outside of ESO, but I don't see why they could not be a part of this empire, as well as actually having the ability to attack. The mages could use necromancy to raise the dead to fight by their side. A mage in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim once stated she could raise an army of undead that could defeat both armies in the Civil War. I used to think that was a bit of hyperbole, but after playing ESO myself, you start to realize how dangerous even an above average mage can be with evil intent. Acronax. Mages can summon Daedric beings from oblivion. There are many Daedra, but perhaps the most known and seen are the powerful elemental Daedra. They can come in many shapes and sizes, can even be rode like horses and still be just as powerful. Offensive capability. Soldiers in this era, I believe it would not be a stretch to think that some could reach higher end superhuman feats. Lower end feats include characters easily breaking down doors, characters with weapons that can directly cut through armor, granted that's kind of a typical fantasy trope, up to more dynamic feats such as characters who can stand toe-to-toe with giants and huge flesh acronites, mammoths, werewolves, and vampires, even Dwemer centurions. Creatures with easily superhuman attributes like super speed, strength, and stamina. This could be true especially for the Fighters Guild that resides in the Imperial City. Imperials would also be supplied with various options for healing and curing ailments. One small group I honestly almost keep forgetting to mention are the Gladiators. Tiber Septim brought back the arena to function in his time, acting similar to the arena you might think of in Rome. People participating in battles to face each other as well as beasts captured from all over the world. So these would be some of the strongest of men. Enchanted weapons have an effect on enemies, create resistances to things like magic and potions, also gives stat amplifications. Battle mages. Last video, I don't think I went enough into how magic can truly help in battle and how effective magic can be. Like soul suck. Mages can easily suck the souls quickly and easily from an enemy without protection. They can quickly disintegrate an armored warrior. They can use mind control, illusions. Lightning and ice spells can rip through armor. Fire and ice can change the surrounding. Ice can also simply be used to freeze an opponent's body, or enemies on a large scale. Telekinesis can be used to disarm, push enemies, or even bind them. Of course, let's not forget barrier creation, which can be casted to protect others as well. The might of Tiber Septim's navy was said to be great. Emil, Tiber Septim's provisional governor, had much success in the Tiber Wars, but he did not use a navy ship. He used an airship, something even in this era is extremely rare. And if things get beyond even the power of the navy, they can send the jewel of the empire, the red dragon, Naphiliargus. Naphiliargus is not one of the most powerful dragons, but he is still very powerful, and he, alongside the companions such as Abnorthron, defeated a dragon who has a connection to Alduin and was going to gain power to rival Akatosh. After his defeat, he was going to explode, taking all of Tamriel with him, but the battle mage and the dragon contained the explosion, only leaving the island destroyed in a massive explosion that can be seen all the way from Skyrim. And of course, being an elder dragon, he has the Thune, to a degree likely far beyond anything the Greybeards can unleash. You know, having a backup dragon is very cool, but you want to know what's actually cooler than having a badass dragon by your side? Having an overpowered mage. Zurin Arctus, Imperial Battle Mage of Tamriel. Note he is different than an Imperial Battle Mage, one that serves the military. He serves the council and the emperor personally, basically a royal mage. Among those ranks are the likes of Abnorthron and Jagorthon. Zurin wrote the book the art of war magic. His magical power and war tactics were beyond anyone in this era, but while he is powerful, his importance is in relation to the Nunduum. And to get into that, I have to go a bit into the boss man, Tiber Septim. There is one thing Talos Stormcrown hated. Well, two things. One is monsters, particularly orcs. And we all know what orcs are code for, so Tiber Septim really hated Nick. After his conquest of Hammerfell, he set his sights on non-human land, Morrowind. The Empire battled the great houses of Morrowind till the living gods Vivek intervened. This was after the tribunal was weakened by being shut off from the heart of Lochon, so they negotiated a treaty that best benefits those already in power, while still being under imperial rule. To make the treaty more enticing, Vivek gave Tiber Septim Nunduum. Nunduum is a massive automaton created by the Dwemer as their new god, harnessing the power of the Heart of Larkon, power that the living gods fed on. It's useless without it. But Tiber Septim commissioned the great wizard Zurin to create a device allowing Tiber Septim to control it. A device that looks like a baby for some reason, and the energy to power it was from his very heart and soul. With this divine power, Nunduum activated. Tiber Septim used it to defeat the Aldmeri Dominion and thus uniting all of Tamriel under his rule. While it would not be a happy ever after with Zurin fighting the Nunduum, it was used still to great effect by Tiber Septim, and we have an idea how powerful he and the Nunduum truly was, which I will get into later. Okay, overall grading. Doing it a little bit differently this time. Army. As I said in the Remain video, the number of troops should be pretty high, at least in the hundreds of thousands. The civilian population should be higher, and many civilians have experience in combat and magic. While most soldiers don't scale that high, and it's hard to say just how strong an elite soldier truly is, they still have a lot going for them when it comes to stat amplification and adaptation, for many great strategists are in this era, and also having a massive spy network in the blades is of course beneficial. Also, having a dragon at your beck and call gives you a great advantage in air combat, being that it's pretty much non-existent, as well of course the fear and morale drop that comes with having to face a dragon. Mages themselves have a wide range of abilities to affect battle, as well as pure destructive force that can tear down fortresses. Of course, part of the army would be the Imperial Wizard Zurin Arctus, with him having enough knowledge and power to create the Totem of Tiber Septim, and use his heart and energy to replace the Heart of Larkon for the Nunduum, and then later fighting it. He scales impressively high. I add him among the legendary wizards that rival the gods. And of course, Tiber Septim himself, one of the greatest warriors and strategists in the series, as well as being a dragonborn, possibly one of the strongest ever. Could have honestly just done a video on him, and will if you want me to. Now, as a dragonborn, he has the Dune, which gives him unique abilities like time manipulation, weather manipulation, and can even change history. He, of course, would have access to powerful artifacts, such as the Horn of Summoning. Nobody knows what it summons, just that it's one of the most powerful artifacts in existence, and stated that even the full might of the Empire could not withstand it. He had access to an immeasurably powerful automaton, the Nunduum, which is capable of defeating many gods and heroes, including Akatosh. He may have also had power beyond the Dune, beyond the Nunduum, Kaim, allowing him to transcend all of existence and become aware of the Godhead. With this ability or knowledge, he can pretty much do anything and manipulate anything regardless of scale. So, in terms of army, I give it an A. Defense and resource. The Imperial City is surrounded by walls. Lore-wise, it's massive. The White Goat Tower provides cosmic dimensional protection as well. Resources. Those in the Imperial City are mortals, require food, water, but the Imperial City is a massive location, surrounded by islands. They can obtain resources from higher dimensional realms via Moss ships. Resources can be manipulated with magic, possibly via reality warping. Mages don't require much of anything to unleash magic, so using mages are easy on resources. Can also conjure weapons. So, together A-. Equipment, which includes summons and artifacts. Again, check my last video for more general detail, but comparable to real-world armor and weapons that can easily be enchanted without someone being magical. They can drink potions that can heal them, can use magical scrolls. They have a powerful and large navy that sadly almost completely lacks an air force, having the totem of Tiber Septim, something that was used to create the warp in the west, which led to a mage Manamarco becoming a god, the Nundawum, and other very powerful artifacts, like the Horn of Summoning and the Amulet of Kings. So equipment, I give an A+. So that leaves this civilization with an overall grade of A. Well, tell me what you think. Anything you think I should have considered? If so, tell me in the comments. What do you think of these type of videos? If you like it, well, who would you like me to cover next? And please like, sub, hit the bell. Later.